Natalie has read Set It and Forget It, and she's heard me say that when we're sleeping well, we should tell people about it. But she's also tuned into recent content where I've been saying that if we celebrate sleeping, then the roller coaster continues and we continue to struggle with insomnia. So, what is it? What should we be doing? Can we even reconcile these two things? That's exactly what we're going to talk about in today's episode, which is really going to center around a Natto teaching that we call the tailwind. All right. So hopefully this will be really helpful to you. But let's start with this comment from Natalie that came in quite recently. It was just one day ago, and it's on the episode where I talked with Alina about this roller coaster and how it ends. So Natalie Barinas said, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, said the following: "Hi Daniel, just read your book, Set It and Forget It. In there you say that when we have good night's sleep, we should talk about it and be happy and tell people. This video says you create a roller coaster insomnia when you get too happy about sleeping normally. Does that mean we shouldn't actually celebrate when we sleep normally, just treat it as that, normal sleeping?" And when I saw this, I was like really excited because this showed so much understanding. It shows someone had really read the book, contextualized it with the content, and found something that is somewhat conflicting, or like that gives you sort of like two different ideas. So I really wanted to take a chance to talk about it here. And the thing is that, I'm going to share with you three sort of yeses here. And then we're going to see how we can reconcile everything. So firstly, I want to say that yes, I believe it is true that when we celebrate sleeping as a victory, this creates performance anxiety because we're telling the brain, yes, this is great, I want more of this. But the brain has no control over sleep. Just becomes anxious. Like, how can I do this again? It creates more struggle, right? So this is true. Yes. Yes. When we don't give any significance to sleeping, there's no insomnia. Like, something neutral. Okay, I slept. That's nice. Or I didn't sleep. Oh, that's not nice. But there's no like significance. There's no celebrating or win-lose thinking around it. There is no insomnia. If you think about someone who doesn't have any struggle with sleep, that person doesn't celebrate or feel like they failed or anything like that. So that neutrality that Natalie talks about, yes, this is true. When there's neutrality, there is no insomnia. However, there's a third yes here, which is the yes of taking note of something nice that happens when we're in this struggle that can give us sort of an extra tailwind. But we cannot capture the wind. So what do I mean by this? Well, when we've been in the struggle with sleep, oftentimes there's kind of topsy-turvy, up and down, right? But sometimes there are these like magical moments when we're like, oh, I slept really nicely. And if we do what I talk about in this book, I actually pulled up the chapter here, which is React to the Good. I talk about how when we sleep well, we can take note of it. We can tell somebody. And the intent there is, again, it's not to celebrate it, but it's just to acknowledge that something nice happened without any further like intent. And what can happen there is that we're just affirming reality, like this really happened, and we take note of it, and that can make us feel like, oh, this is nice. It gets kind of a little extra boost, like a little tailwind. But, and I learned this from Jacob, who is one of the protagonists in Tales of Courage, and who is also an Insomnia Immunity student. He said exactly this, that when something nice happened, we can affirm it. We can take note that this happened. It gives us kind of an extra, like a tailwind, but we can't capture the wind. And what I mean with like what does he mean? And what do I mean by you can't capture the wind? Well, it is like when we're affirming something, taking note of something, that's just, that's, there's nothing to it. We're just taking note of something, but when we're affirming something, trying to control the future, that's when it leads to struggle. So we're like, oh, yes, I slept really well. And we tell people and we make a big fuss about it, because we hope that by telling ourselves, I can sleep, I'm a good sleeper, there's nothing problem, I'm a good sleeper, I can sleep. When we're trying to sort of use affirmations to control sleep, that's when it gets into struggle. And that's when we're like in what I call like, we're trying to capture the wind. We're trying to capture the wind when in reality, we can't capture the wind. If you try to actually capture the wind, we get into a lot of struggle, right? So again, affirming something nice that happened without any further intent, this can be a nice tailwind. And this is how I think you can reconcile these two teachings into something that makes a lot of sense. I hope that made a lot of sense to you, Natalie, and everybody else out there. And if you find that you're seeing the answers here, the teaching here is working for you, you're on your path to leaving the struggle and finding yourself again, becoming that person that you were before the struggle started, that is wonderful. However, if you find that what you're doing now isn't quite working for you, you're struggling, things feel hopeless, you don't feel like the person you were connected with the world and just living a free and happy life, then please head over to our website and check out ways that we can work with you, because we would love to work with you. And if you choose to join any of our programs, then we can't wait to see you on the other side. With that said, I want to thank Natalie and everyone else for tuning in here, and can't wait to have you back again soon. Until then,